Hi guys, I'm your friend Ivani. I'm from Tucson, Arizona. I study in Dole Middle School. In this video, we'll be talking about the nervous system. Okay, so the nervous system that connects us with its environment is called the somatic nervous system, and its internal organs, the autonomic or vegetative nervous system. Okay, now these two nervous system have different characteristics, but they do the same thing, which is to connect us with our environment, right? So in other words, they have different characteristics, but they do one particular job. So now I'm going to tell you the characteristics of the somatic nervous system, which are constant sensation when you get aware of something that's happening in your body. For example, when something funny is happening inside your stomach, you eat a pill so you don't get sick. And voluntary movements that you make your body do, like all sorts of exercises, running, jumping, and also rapid processing of information. Like you input through the keyboard and then the CPU processes the information and then you get your output. So it just happens instantly, but not like algebraic equations when you have to think about it. Now there's one thing that I forgot to tell you guys, which was the environment, which doesn't just mean nature. In this case, it also means what's around us, so our surroundings. Anyways, to set that aside, now I'll be talking about the autonomic nervous system, the features of the autonomic nervous system, which is to maintain a constant internal environment or homeostasis. In other words, homeostasis is when your body is trying to keep the same, like oxygen levels, water levels, and a really good one I can think of is temperature. It also controls, adjusts, and arranges organ functioning in response to environmental demands. Like when it's really hot outside, so you apply sunscreen on your skin. And both of these nervous systems include sensory or afferent connections which bring information to the brain and spinal cord, as well as motor or efferent connections which carry out this information from the brain and spinal cord out to the skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and gland cells. And I also explained this in my first video, so you can also go check that out with examples. Anyways, so the peripheral nervous system has all these nerves which I talked about earlier, including the collections of nerve cells called ganglia. Okay, so the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system controls or regulates the locomotor apparatus or musculoskeletal system, yes, and it's the mixture of muscles and skeletal system, respiratory system, digestive system, circulatory system, urogenetical system, and I know that's a new word for you guys. So what it actually is it's a mix of the urinary tract and reproduction organs, and also the endocrine glands, which includes pineal gland, thyroid gland, and etc. Okay, so the components of the central nervous system, or CNS, and PNS, or peripheral nervous system, start developing from the outer germ layer, which is the ectoderm. So I thought that you wouldn't know what the outer germ layer was, so I thought if I could give you a definition of it. Anyways, so the germ layers start developing early in embryonic life through a process of gastrulation, but I'm not really going to go deep into that. I might do another video of that, but I don't know yet. Anyways, through a process of gastrulation when a bunch of cells called bastula reshape into two primary layers. The inner layer is called the endoderm with a D, and the outer layer is called the ectoderm. But in other words, you can just call it the ectoderm, which is the outer tissue layer of an embryo. So this is the bastula, and this is our gastrula, and these are the two layers which I talked about earlier. Okay, so the development of the brain starts at the third week of pregnancy, when the area of an ectoderm thickens and forms a neural plate. And if you ask how does the neural plate form, well, they just gave it a name when the ectoderm thickens, and they called it the neural plate. Anyways, so the neural plate, the ends of the neural plate, which are the neural folds, start to fold inward and push themselves up. And imagine how that would look like. They're pushing themselves up from both sides, and they start to come together like that. And that forms a neural groove. But and it will form a circle, but it's not fully closed yet. But when it's fully closed, and it does closes, and it's known as the neural tube. Now what the neural tube is, it's from where the brain and spinal cord starts to form. So this is how it all looks like from the starting to the end. But this is not a fully formed brain yet. Parts of the neural fold which do not take part in the formation of the neural tube become the neural crest, which forms most of the peripheral nervous system. And the end of the neural tube becomes the spinal cord. So this neural tube begins to curve, and it divides into three bulges, which are known as the primary vesicles. And these bulges form the major parts of the brain, and they're the starting of the hindbrain, forebrain, and midbrain. The hindbrain is also known as the rhombencephalon, the midbrain is known as the mesencephalon, and the forebrain is also known as the prosencephalon. The forebrain develops into the cerebrum, and the midbrain doesn't develop into anything, and the hindbrain, or the back brain, develops into the pons, which coordinate movement, cerebellum, and the medulla. I also discussed the meanings of cerebrum, cerebellum in another video, so you can also go check that out. So I hope you guys liked my video, and if you guys liked my video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, which is Science Lovers. Bye! See you soon!